Hi, I'm Angelo. I'm 13 years old. I'm from Southwest Wales and I'm self-educated. Basically, I like the idea of being creative and creating things yourself that stand for your philosophy or creating a mood that you can share with other people. About this time last year, I quit school to self-educate myself, to teach myself the things that the school doesn't.
Hey Dad, I'm gonna start recording for a movie.
Are you?
Yeah, it's gonna take place when I'm 45. Huh? What's about to happen within the next 5 years?
Dent the universe.
Yeah, sorry, the shit on your dream, like
No.
my entire dream. Andrew's in a fucking shark.
Moit moit.
Oh my god.
The funny thing about the sense that one is destined for success is that when they win, it's called divine intuition. But when they don't, it's called narcissism or delusions of grandeur. When I was 11 years old, I began to get that sense. I would watch motivational speakers talk about successful people, about greatness, and I would think to myself, hell yeah. I'd watch a movie, and if there wasn't an epic training montage, then I'd consider it to be a bad film.
There is no tomorrow!
I didn't realize it at the time, but I was forging a core aspect of my personal identity. That when everybody else tried for 10, I'd be the guy who tried for 20.
And a video has emerged showing a group of youngsters risking their lives at the top of an 8-story...
I was into parkour at the time, and I would train until the patella tendons in both of my knees got so bad that I ended up in crutches. But I did get pretty decent at parkour. Good enough to compete at a few competitions, one of which nearly killed me when I got slapped in the spleen by a bar of scaffolding. An injury that had 6 doctors telling me that I might not make it. It was my first encounter with death, and realizing how limited our time here was caused me to reevaluate how I was spending every second of it. And I came to the conclusion that school had to go. So I wrote a document outlining the pros and cons of self-education and presented it to my family. And with a little help from a psychologist's professional opinion, I managed to escape school. My future was now my own, and I did not anticipate how much pressure comes with that. I essentially had a quarter-life crisis at the age of 12, and the whole experience fucked me up for a while, enough to land me in the offices of a few therapists. I picked up a pen, a camera, a microphone, Bitcoin, just about anything that captured my interest, and began experimenting. But over the years, the camera was the only thing that stuck. I started making shitty travel videos, got a few gigs at some music events that paid about 20 bucks, and with everything that I created, I was sure that it would go viral and launch me towards my destined success. It never did.
Thanks, Angelo. Don't touch meth, kids, is that's the underlying message there. The next talk after...
Fast forward a couple years, and between the pressure of proving to my family that self-education was a good decision, parental divorce proceedings, and the failure of every single one of my terrible creative endeavors, alcohol addiction, getting scammed by my first employer, cheated on by my first love, and a shitty encounter with the police, the vibes were astronomically low in 2017. So I did what lots of 15-year-olds would do in that circumstance. Drugs. 2017 sucked, and the night that I was called into the police station for possession of weed, I reached a fork in the road. Try even harder to fix the mess, take on more suffering in order to keep my dream alive, or give up. Go hard or go home. I went home. I never would have told you that I had given up, but I spent all of my time hanging out with drug dealers, getting into fights and partying, so my actions spoke louder. Day by day, my dreams began to look like nothing more than just dreams. Naturally, the next 3 years were a write-off. But after a few more close encounters with police...
Do you want a bag on top of you?
Nope.
And seize a vehicle under Section 59 of the Police Reform Act 2002.
Okay.
You just pop your signature there to say I've read that to you.
When I was 18, I reached that fork in the road again. Go hard or go home. But this time, I decided to go hard. I got sober. fell back in love with learning, wrote a book, and started going to conferences. The book didn't sell very well, but it did get me a job working as the video guy at a Bitcoin brokerage and running their YouTube channel. The only catch was that I would have to leave all of my friends behind and move to a new country on my own at 19 years old.
Hello YouTube channel, I haven't started yet and won't start for another 2 years. Hello anyway. This is me in the past when I was 19. Here's some more of my belongings and my books.
A sacrifice that I was willing to make in exchange for my dream.
I love it.
And thus began the loneliest 2 years of my life. And 2 years of isolation and hard work later, I was independent, in the best shape of my life. Let's go! Getting invited to podcasts and to speak at conferences.
Like we said, we've got Angelo here with us this evening.
Angelo, mate, I love Angelo's mind, man. He thinks in some ways that, you know, sometimes I think, I think I'm philosophical.
And today we have another returning guest, Angelo Morgan Summers. He's the author of...
Today I'm speaking with Angelo. Hey Angelo, how are you?
Podcast, we have Angelo
Today
Morgan
the guest will be
Summers
joining
here
us
today.
is Angelo. Introduction by request, a professional cool kid. Angelo...
A girl I was head over heels for came back into my life, and I had done it all without school. For a brief moment in time, I was on top. I started to feel like there was light at the end of the tunnel, like my sense that I was destined for something more was correct, and that all of my sacrifices weren't for nothing. And then a couple days after my birthday last year, I got a call from the CEO. The company had gone bust overnight. Everyone got fired. I lost almost all of the work that I had produced in the previous 2 years. I moved back home, feeling as if 2 years worth of working harder than I ever had before had just gone down the drain. Things didn't work out with the girl, and I started to get that feeling. What if my dreams are just dreams? And there it was again, the fork in the road. Go hard or go home. I went hard. The videos I made for the company's YouTube channel didn't get many views, but they did get me a remote script writing job for another YouTube channel. Suddenly I was making enough money to go and see the world working remotely, a dream that I've had since I was 13. So I packed my bags.
Can we get a different female?
Trust me. Why they feel like my attention is something ugly? If I gave you my heart, would you still love me? Lately, babe, I feel like nobody trusts me. Trust me.
About halfway through that trip, I got a message from my scriptwriting client telling me that they were cancelling the show. And just as fast as I had achieved my dreams, I lost them. I was on my own in a remote island in Thailand with a laptop and a camera, and I'd just been told that my income was getting cut off. And there it was again, the fork in the road. Go hard or go home. I flirted with the idea of settling, drinking again, getting a normal job, being normal. But at this point, I knew I wasn't built like that anymore. I had made a habit out of chasing my dreams with reckless abandon. But I had no idea what to do next. So in the meantime, I decided to start my own YouTube channel and share some of the things that have got me this far. I made a video talking about my generation's struggle with masculinity, and it got 100,000 views in the first 5 weeks. This was the first time anything I ever made got any recognition, so I was shocked.
I like this guy. Hey man, I'm gonna give you a sub, dude. You got no subs, but shout out to you, dude.
I made some other videos about how I found meaning in my life and escaped nihilism. And I started to get some messages that said things like, I came to some realizations while watching your videos that might have saved my life. I got hundreds of comments that made me feel like my suffering wasn't for nothing. Messages I had always dreamt of reading began flooding into my inbox. And I realized something. The line between grandeur and delusions of grandeur is just one good day. And because of this, it's not about whether or not you make it. It's about how unwavering you can be in your pursuit, how ruthlessly you can refuse to settle. Because making it can only ever teach you something about the world. But going hard, trying regardless, can teach you something about yourself. And that is invaluable. I think almost everybody has that voice in their head that tells them they're destined for something great. But only some of us act like it. And in the end, what's going to matter more to you? That you won, or that you fought? I'm not talking about some dumb participation trophy shit either. I'm talking about the warrior's stand. The moment where it's the last samurai, and the enemy is at the gate by the thousands, and though he knows death is certain, he fights regardless. Why? Clearly not because he wants to win. He knows that he won't. But because he wants something bigger than that. He wants to fight. When I got the call that I was going to lose my job and 2 years worth of work, I was pretty convinced that I was a fraud. That my dreams were just delusions of grandeur, and that maybe the sensible thing to do would be to settle down and get a normal job. But after years of being the guy who tries for 20, it had become who I was. It was in my blood. And that I kept trying had become more important to me than whether or not I win. I still feel a crushing sense of fear when people ask me what I'm doing, and I tell them I'm making videos for a YouTube channel with 6K subs, because I have no idea whether or not it's going to work out. In fact, the odds are that it probably won't, but if it doesn't, I'll be the guy who tried regardless. That matters to me. A lot. The line between grandeur and delusions of grandeur is sometimes as thin as one good day. So if that day ever finds you, what do you want your story to be? The guy who cowered away and got lucky regardless? Or the guy who refused to give up? Whether you like it or not, your actions are not just your own. You're at the center of a social web, only 6 people removed from everybody on Earth. And the way that you choose to live will bleed into that web further than you think. So what do you want to represent? Only trying when you know that you'll probably win? Or trying even when failure is almost certain? I've failed at more things than most people my age have ever tried, and it sucks every fucking time. But when I look back at my life, it was the periods of time where I wasn't trying that were the worst. Because I had the lingering background pain of knowing that even if I did have what it takes, I would never find out. When you hear my story, it might sound like between the ages of 15 and 18, I gave up on my dreams because I got into drugs. But it was the other way around. I got into drugs and partying to distract from the pain of knowing that I was letting my dreams slip through my fingers. So if you're anything like me, cursed with ambition and delusions of grandeur, just hear me out. People will tell you that you're delusional. You will tell yourself that you're delusional. They will give you plastic encouragement when you're stationary and tell you to be sensible when you start to gain momentum. They will offer countless cautionary tales about why your latest opportunity won't work out, and most of the time they will be right. But they have to be right every single time. You only have to be right once. And then all the pain, all the sacrifice, all the sleep you lost when you were too busy dreaming will suddenly become worth it. You will reach back through time and alchemize that suffering into something incredible, something rare, something you. And the thing that sucks the most about trying, that you don't know whether or not it'll work out, is exactly what makes the act of trying regardless so beautiful. And maybe it's not about getting rewarded. Maybe it's about living beautifully. Maybe the reward isn't what you get, but who you get to see yourself become. After all, that's the only reward that can't be taken from you. So before you tell yourself to be realistic, remember this. The odds of your existence are less than 400 trillion to 1. You don't know what you are, where you came from, or what it's all for. There is an entire civilization of cells that you've never met, working 24/7 to keep you alive, and you have no idea how any of it works. So maybe you're not the best authority on what is realistic and what isn't. You know almost nothing, but you know that your days here are numbered. So in the words of the last great emperor of Rome, Marcus Aurelius, think of yourself as dead. You've lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly.